You will spend roughly 1/3 of your life in discomfort, pain, or quiet desperation. Most people spend the remaining 2/3 trying to escape it. They fail. Every time. The Stoics understood something so radical it bordered on madness. Suffering is not the enemy. By the end of this video, you will possess the exact psychological framework the ancient Stoics used to transform suffering into the very source of their power. Marcus Aurelius ruled the greatest empire the world had ever known, while simultaneously watching it bleed. Plagues decimated his population. Wars never ceased. His own son would become a monster. He wrote none of his famous meditations for publication. They were private notes, a man wrestling alone in the dark with what it meant to remain human under impossible pressure. He was not a saint. He was a soldier of the mind. But Marcus was not alone in this tradition. Epictetus was born a slave. He had no freedom, no property, no political power. His master once twisted his leg deliberately, breaking it, while Epictetus simply remarked, "You will break it." He was right. He walked with a limp for the rest of his life. Yet that broken body produced one of the most unshakable philosophies of endurance the world has ever witnessed. Suffering was his classroom. The Stoics built their entire philosophy on one radical distinction. There are things within your control, your thoughts, your responses, your values. And there are things outside your control. Illness, loss, betrayal, the cruelty of circumstance. Suffering belongs entirely to the second category. What you do with suffering belongs entirely to the first. That boundary, invisible and absolute, was the wall behind which every Stoic built their fortress of inner peace. They had a name for it, the dichotomy of control. And it was not merely philosophy, it was surgery. When you collapse that boundary, when you believe your suffering depends on whether the world cooperates with your desires, you hand every enemy, every illness, every accident, a direct wire to your peace of mind. The Stoics refused to surrender that wire. They understood that most human misery is constructed entirely from that single surrender. Seneca wrote, "It is not that I am brave, it is that I know what is truly mine." This is not arrogance, it is precision. When you clearly define what belongs to you, your attention, your interpretation, your response, suffering loses its jurisdiction over your identity. Pain can visit your body. Grief can move through your chest. But neither can occupy your character unless you open the door yourself. The Stoics never opened that door. They also practiced something modern psychology has only recently rediscovered: negative visualization, or what Seneca called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Each morning, Stoics would deliberately imagine the worst that could happen, not to torture themselves, but to strip suffering of its most devastating weapon, surprise. When you have already sat with the image of loss, the arrival of loss finds a prepared mind, not a shattered one. Readiness is armor. This is where the Stoics diverged dangerously from our modern culture of comfort. We are sold the lie that a good life is a painless life. We medicate grief. We pathologize struggle. We are shocked when suffering arrives, as if its arrival were a cosmic mistake. The Stoics would find this almost incomprehensible. Suffering, they argued, is not a malfunction of existence. It is one of existence's primary languages. To refuse it is to go illiterate in the world. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is perhaps the most psychologically radical claim in all of Stoic writing. Not that suffering should be tolerated, not that it should be endured, but that it should be redirected, transformed from obstacle into engine. The very pressure that would crush you is, in the hands of a trained mind, the force that builds you. Resistance becomes fuel. Seneca lived this contradiction visibly, a man of extraordinary wealth who wrote profoundly about detachment. Critics called him a hypocrite. He answered them in letters, still preserved today. "I do not say I am a sage. I say I am trying to become one." The Stoic path was never about arriving at painlessness. It was about the quality of your engagement with pain as it comes. Character is not built in comfort. It is excavated from suffering, carefully, deliberately. Here is how you begin to apply this. Start with radical categorization. When suffering arrives, illness, failure, rejection, loss, stop. Physically stop. Ask yourself one question. Is this within my control or outside it? Do not rush to answer. Sit with the question until it becomes honest. This pause, this single deliberate moment of classification, is the foundational act of Stoic psychology. Everything else is built on it. The pause is the practice. Second, practice the premeditation. Each morning, before the world demands anything of you, spend 3 minutes imagining clearly what difficulty this day might bring. Not to manufacture anxiety, but to meet it already standing. When the meeting comes, and it always comes, your nervous system will recognize the territory. You will not be ambushed. You will be, in the Stoic sense, prepared. Preparation is not pessimism. Preparation is the highest form of self-respect. Third, reframe the narrative. The Stoics were meticulous about language, internal language especially. Instead of "this is happening to me," practice saying "this is happening, and I am choosing how to meet it." That invisible grammatical shift relocates agency. It moves you from subject of suffering to author of response. Marcus did this in every page of his private journals. He was not performing for history. He was rewiring himself, sentence by sentence, thought by thought. There is a story about Cato, the Stoic senator, standing in the Roman Senate as everything he had fought for collapsed around him. Julius Caesar had won. The Republic was effectively finished. His allies had fled or surrendered. Cato sat that final night reading Plato's Phaedo, a dialogue about the immortality of the soul. He read it twice, not in terror, in something closer to clarity. He had separated what was his from what was not. The Republic could fall. His principles could not. Epictetus, in his old age, broken body and free mind, told his students this: "Seek not that the things which happen should happen as you wish, but wish the things which happen to be as they are, and you will have a tranquil flow of life." This is not passive surrender. This is the most radical form of power available to a human being. The power to remain unbroken, not because life spared you, but because you prepared your interior against every storm it could send. The Stoics did not fear suffering because they understood its true nature. It is a forge, not a prison. What you promised yourself at the beginning of this video was the psychological framework that transforms suffering into power. It is this: classify what is yours, premeditate what is coming, and author your response to both. That is the entire architecture of Stoic resilience. The world will not stop testing you, but you have just changed how you stand when it does.